It's authentic, it's reliable, it's evidence-based. We bring to you the facts from the hub of research in Oxford, England. Good afternoon, friends. Well, it's me, Dr. Piyush Goyal from Oxford again, bringing you some latest updates in continuation with my lecture series. In my last lecture, we talked about endemics and pandemics happening in the last 100 years, demystifying the various different pathogenic attacks on the human race. So let me take you back to the era 100 years from now, which is post-World War I, when the population was largely hit by pandemics like influenza. Millions and millions of lives were lost. And that was a time when the global community came together to find out resolution of what we can do. There were lots of thought processes. How can we have a regulated healthcare industry? There were lots of methods which were brought in, but these are big decisions, and it took a lot of time. From World War I to World War II, and post World War II, it was high time when all the nations who came together, creating a unified initiative to ensure that they should be working for world peace and world health. And that is the time when United Nations came into being. It was 5th of October 1945. What was the objective? The UN Charter was set out with main four objectives: world peace, develop relations amongst the nations, fostering cooperation between nations, promoting a forum of meeting and working together. But how many of us we know that before United Nations came into being, there was already a predecessor entity to United Nations, which was a League of Nations established in 1919 after the First World War by the Treaty of Versailles. But that league failed to perform, and that's why we ended up into World War II. So that was the time it was United Nations which was brought into place after the Second World War. Now, to understand a little more about United Nations, it had main 6 parts: General Assembly, constituted by 193 member states at the present, with 2 observer states. Second, the Security Council, which was created to promote world peace and promote human rights. The third was the Economic Council, which to help the development of the countries with the help of organizations like WHO, International Council of Justice. The fourth element, which is based out of Hague, it was to look after any kind of violations in the public domain. Trustee Council, which is still inactive and suspended since 1994, and the Secretariat. So from our healthcare point of view, we should be looking at WHO as directly and coordinating authority on international health within United Nations, adhering to United Nations values of integrity and professionalism and respect of diversity. The mission has been to keep the world safe, serve the vulnerable, and evaluating the impact of the society. WHO has done explicit work in last 70 years globally, and to identify and inform nations, to create a workforce, to create a framework, to demystify and break down. WHO focuses on global health issues such as eradication of smallpox, polio, family planning, various different kinds of immunizations, maternal morbidity, and AIDS. Now, if I look at various different kinds of clinical conditions, we can easily break them down into 2 parts: communicable and non-communicable diseases. WHO has been creating lots of resources and informations sharing amongst the countries how to tackle these challenges, how can we manage them in a successful way. So, in my next lecture, I shall be talking more into detail about communicable and non communicable diseases and the explicit work which has been done by WHO and various different agencies in the world to try to better our lives, uh,